Hi guys, it's Jacob from StringBuzz here, stringbuzzworld.org being the music journalism site, links in the description down below. And we have a brand new song review for you today, and it's the latest track by Mali Music, I think that's how you pronounce it, featuring Jazmine Sullivan as well. I hope these pronunciations are alright, and that's Loved By You. So I'm going to refer to the original article as I usually do for these videos, so I hope you enjoy. And like I've said in previous videos, I am still sick, hence my horrible voice at the moment, but yeah, bear with me. When it comes to these two artists, as you can probably already tell, I know absolutely nothing about them, which is strange because they both obviously have really large followings behind them. This is one of the single releases ahead of Mali's new album, I believe, and it seems to be causing quite the stir on a lot of musical forums, which I visit fairly often. So shall we see what I thought of this brand new track? Well, it certainly has some good moments to it, and I think the choice of instrumentation in particular was absolutely divine. It had this sort of old school soul and jazz flavour to it, which going into this track I certainly didn't expect, since it's a sound that isn't that popular at the moment. So I guess in that sense I found it kind of refreshing as well. I think the two vocal performances are strong here, and I actually think the track flows, elegantly, and it had this sort of aura of sophistication behind it. But having said all this, I have heard this done much better before by other artists, and I didn't feel for a second that moved or emotional when listening to this track, and I think that's down to it not having too much personal weight with me anyway. I think the progressions never escalate. I think the track never really climaxes. It's sort of at the same level throughout the whole song, and the song's build up in general is just kind of weak in every aspect, and it didn't really knock me out the way I wanted it to. When it comes to the production of this track, I actually think we've been given a fairly solid mix. There are a lot of tricky instrumentals in here that could have gone wrong, and I think it's easy to overlook the strings in particular when it comes to slow jams like this, but the twang was all there for me, and all the organic elements all shone out in the foreground really well. They all cut through well, which is a qualm which I've had with a lot of mixes fairly recently. It was well balanced for me and well rated in that sort of sense. From a mixing sense, it was weighted, and on every end as well, from low ground to the high ground. And for once, it was nice hearing a track that didn't focus so much on just getting the low ground right, but instead, like I said, just balance things well. I also thought the vocals were all really well handled. Again, they sounded very natural and very clear, and the diction on each word was spot on for me. And I liked how the reverb was basically used to just enhance the vocals like they should be, rather than just filling gaps in the stereo field, sort of creating an unnecessary atmosphere. I think whoever produced this couldn't have really done a better job. When it comes to the musicality of this track, it definitely does all the right things to be a good track, but I think either the execution is off, or it just didn't resonate with me, or it just kind of lacked that sort of big moment for me. So often I've been talking about how there are way too many big notes and way too many huge moments in a lot of short tracks nowadays, but this track seems to be on the other end of the spectrum, since there wasn't a single sequence in here that I could really class as being that memorable or that bold, and there wasn't really a line in here either which really connected with me. The vocal performances are fine, as I've said, they're actually quite strong, and the sort of subdued, sort of stripped back approach I actually think worked really well over this track, especially when paired with these very personal themes. But something was definitely missing, and I do think it could have been down to a lack of sort of harmonic, melodic, or even instrumental development. Even the transitions were barely noticeable for me, and it's frustrating because I tried so hard to really get into this track, and it's sort of just seesawing in the middle for me. Lyrically, the track definitely carries a lot of sort of biblical personal beliefs, which I think for a casual listener like me isn't probably going to connect all too much, since I didn't really find it all too relatable. But for those who do follow the faith, or a faith in general, I can see and judge by the comments alone left on the sort of video they made for this track that it certainly did the job, and it left a lot of people smiling and feeling good about themselves. So I have to take that into my own perspective, and it must have done a great job in that sense. So all in all, the track has great moments to it. I'm trying very hard to praise all of these moments to their absolute limits, because I definitely think this track has got a lot of care and attention put into it, but I just didn't really connect with it, and it didn't really resonate with me, and hence I also found it fairly forgettable. So I gave it a G rating of 6 out of 10, which is above average still. So if you like this video, then please leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you around next time. Bye bye.